Now, this morning we're bringing attention to a condition that affects thousands of Aussies. Have a look at this.
It's a complex and often misunderstood condition. Epilepsy affects 1 in 25 Australians and claims 300 lives each year.
It was the fear of the unknown more than anything, and it scared the living daylights out of me.
Ben Fordham recently spoke of his private battle with the condition following revelations that Sydney Swan star Buddy Franklin also suffers mild epilepsy. The constant threat of seizures makes life unpredictable and socially isolating for many sufferers. Well, March is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and for more we're joined by Epilepsy Ambassador and Nine presenter and, well, good friend really,
Absolutely.
Ben Fordham and neurologist Dr Mark Cook. Good morning,
Good morning.
welcome to you both.
How are we?
If I could start with you, Dr Cook, just explain to us, give us a bit of an understanding of exactly what epilepsy is.
So epilepsy is a condition which is caused by a huge range of problems potentially. It's a small short circuit that affects the surface of the brain, like a small electrical storm. Usually it starts in one area of the brain, but it can spread and can cause a huge range of symptoms ranging from strange feelings right through to blank periods lasting seconds or minutes through to major convulsions. So it's a very complex disorder with a huge range of potential causes.
Yeah.
And you can't always have it from your childhood. So, Fordo, do these symptoms, do you recognise these that he's talking about? And when did you first realise you were getting something?
I was about 8 years of age, and I didn't know what was going on because I'd never heard of epilepsy, obviously. And so I think for a lot of people, it's the mystery, the unknown of not knowing what's going on. And for me, I've got a minor form of epilepsy, so I need to stress that it was then getting to know what was going on. Once I was diagnosed, once I was medicated, then when I would have a seizure of some sort, it was almost like second nature to me where it had happened. And I got to the point, and I remember in my early 20s when I'd ring my mum and say, I'm having a fit. And she'd say, when? I'm like, now.
Right.
And I'd just sit down and it was like totally normal.
How frequent would that have been?
Oh, well, it was very frequent early on, and then the gaps have just become larger and larger. And now, I mean, the last one I'd have to count, it might have been 8 years ago or something that I had something. But I think the main message is just to say, well, there's a lot of people with epilepsy out there, and just to let people know if you are experiencing anything, speak up about it, because for most people like me, it's not going to affect your life in a huge manner. You're going to be able to fall in love, get a job, do all the things you want to do, and it's not going to inhibit you in any way of doing the things you want to do and kicking a few goals in life.
Ben makes a really good point, doesn't he? Because I guess when you hear of the word epilepsy and you don't know a lot about it, you tend to just picture the very upsetting seizures and convulsions that some people are affected with. That's a good message to get out, isn't it?
That's right, Georgie. Most adults with epilepsy aren't having major convulsions, although that's what people think of when they think of seizures. Most seizures are little blank episodes where people go off the air for a few seconds to a couple of minutes. Now, that can affect them a lot because if they're driving, that's obviously dangerous, if they've got a dangerous job. But generally, people with epilepsy are extremely well in all other regards. So it's very important for people to realise that it's a condition that most people manage really well. Can be serious, but most people do really well with epilepsy.
We don't have a cure for it, do we?
We don't have a cure for it yet, but treatments are getting better and better, and there are lots of new treatments.
Fordo, you didn't come out about this until quite recently. Was there a reason for that?
No, yeah, I'd always, if the word epilepsy ever came up and I was amongst friends, I'd always say, I've got epilepsy.
Because you once told me a story about going to the movies and seeing a character on screen and going, oh, I feel better now because someone.
Well, there
just
was
had a
one
seizure.
movie I saw, yeah, it wasn't on the movies, but one movie I saw at home where, and I still don't know what it was, where a kid had epilepsy in it, and that's the only time I saw anyone with epilepsy. And then I remember Wally Lewis, the rugby league legend, came out and had epilepsy. Buddy Franklin then said it, so I just tweeted saying, it's interesting, there's so many people with epilepsy, but you don't hear about it that much, so I just said, look, I have it as well, and that's what's led to an ambassador role for me to spread the word. And I suppose the main message is don't freak out about it. You can work with it, you can manage it, and it's probably not going to affect your life greatly. And I've met some great little kids who've got epilepsy, and it's really scary for the young kids.
Absolutely.
So if they know that there's other people out there like Lance Buddy Franklin who's got epilepsy and becomes one of the great AFL players of our time, well, it's not going to stop you in your life.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Thanks,
No
guys.
worries.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Thanks for having us.
Good to see you. Thank you,
Pleasure.
Dr Cook,
Thank you.
very much indeed. And of course, tomorrow is Purple Day. You can help end the stigma, as Ben has just suggested, and any discrimination associated with epilepsy by taking a picture of yourself in purple and uploading it to social media using the hashtag #PurplePose, or make a donation by visiting epilepsyaustralia.net.